The WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code NBA SGPN. Claim a sweet bonus deposit of $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And make sure you go into the free roll football contest. Up to $3,500 up in prizes, up for grabs. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll to enter today. Yes, sir. We are back with another edition of the WNBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. No me, no the voice, no the guy. It's me, really bro, villain bro, Terrell Furman Jr. here at your service.
How about if you sweep it out?
What's the point? I can't do anything right.
You'll do fine.
Hoo-wee. I mean, as he giveth, he taketh away. The tides turn very, very quickly. I'd rather talk about the good things. I don't even want to talk about the bad things. Let's talk about the good things. Scott Studio, Reichel. Scott, what's going on?
Scotty, beat me up.
Surprise.
Can't complain. I ended up sweeping, so definitely a nice episode for me. I had a bunch of rebound props, and it turns out the plays I was torn between, they all won. So it worked out pretty well. I ended up having Asia to go over the 11.5 rebounds. Was juiced like minus 140, minus 145. That got there. And then I had McCowan over her rebound total, which was massive. I got an alt line. I ended up getting over 9.5 at plus 205. She had 8 in the first half. I think she finished with like 13. So either way, never in doubt. The runner-up was Tina Charles. Thought about her alt as well. That got there too. So overall, good episode for me. Just back to the rebound props. And Asia's just been putting up some crazy numbers, man. I mean, it's all I got to say. Asia's been insane.
Yo, it's the 91. I think that's the number. 91. Let me double check. I believe 91 is the number of points she needs to go over 1,000 points for the season.
But she's going to get there. So the point is, she's had a phenomenal
It's
run.
When. It's when is she
really
going to get there?
Yeah. Point is, though, it was a pretty nice game for her rebounding-wise. She dominated in that one. And McCowan was good. She finally came through for me. So, yeah, can't complain. Good episode. Ended up sweeping, and we'll try to keep her rolling in the next one.
McCowan definitely came through. All right. The Wings was just never alive at all at any point. Just complete. I mean, even for the Mystics, 90 for the Mystics is insane.
I don't think the Mystics scored for like the last 3-4 minutes of the game, and they still had 90 points.
Yeah, that's insane. That's really insane. And then we had Alicia Gray in the Dream that just kind of fell and died. And man, that's a really bad loss for the Dream.
Yep.
Ryan Howard had 31 and you don't win. You only scored 66 actually. That's a tough one to sit with. That's a really tough loss there. In fact, we can talk about both of those two teams because now I got to pick from them. But before I do that, gotta talk to you about boom. Sports Gambling Podcast is back picking every NFL game against the spread like they done since 2011. So make sure you enter the free roll football contest up to $3,500 in cash up for grabs. Sign up at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll to get into that free roll football contest. If you don't know, picking every NFL game against the spread. You only miss one game, so you're only down one. You can still enter, and you're only down one game. Up to $3,500 for sportsgamblingpodcast.com/free roll football. Oh, /free roll. I'm sorry, not football, just /free roll. All right. Dallas Wings on the road going to play the Atlanta Dream. Dream laying 2.5 here. 169. I'm sorry. 169.5 is the total. I don't see anything in this game for an injury report. Let me double check.
I think both teams are healthy. Let me check. I see Parker Tyus is questionable. Probably not going to play, and Powers is out. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. So same candidates as usual.
I don't trust either of these teams. So
I know how I'm gonna play it.
I'm assuming you like the over.
Dream team total over.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
I
close
mean
enough.
over 169.5. But like the dream have to go over 83.5. Is it still 83.5? Let me check.
No, it should be a bit higher now because it's at 169.5 and
Yeah,
they're
it's
2.5
probably
point
at
favorites. So it's
85
yeah,
and a
give or
half.
take 85.5 or so. I mean, I'm not
Let's
against
see.
it. They played 2 times this season. One was in May, the other was in July,
No, it's
and
still
they
83.
split.
Okay.
The home team won both games. Dream won by 5 in May, and the Wings did win at home by 3 in July. So not much separating these teams right now based on current form. The Dream were in better form about 2 weeks ago, and then both teams kind of fell back down to earth. The Dream ended up beating the Sparks comfortably. Congratulations. And they came back and they lost to the Mercury, and they really weren't that competitive in that game, despite Howard having a monster game. As for Dallas, they were only losing by 4 because the Mystics did not score for like the last 3 minutes. They were getting blown out the entire game. So the point is the Wings aren't guarding anybody. 90 against the Mystics, 100 against the Fever. So I don't mind your Fever. I don't mind your Dream team total over, but I have a hard time picking the side in this game because I really don't trust either team with my money right now. So I think I'd
Nope.
rather take the over with you, but for a side perspective, I guess I'm going to lean to Dallas because if I don't know, I'm taking the points. But I don't really want to bet the side here. I think both teams are psycho teams. You?
This is now 86.5 on the team total, just so
It
people
makes
know.
sense. Correlated. I mean, the
Yeah.
total was, I think, 167.5 last night, and now it's
Yeah.
at 9.5, so it has moved.
Yeah. 186.5 just sounds like a large number, but it's just like the Dallas is giving that out to everybody. Why not to the Atlanta Dream on the road where they're fighting for a playoff spot? You know, like I mean, and granted, Dallas is low key. Dallas, like as much as we try not to talk about it because they keep losing, Dallas is not out of it for a playoff spot. They're
No.
2 games back, and I mean, I know it's not a lot of games left in the season, but there's a world of possibility where the Dream and the Sky both suck, and Dallas can go on a run and win. Now, is that this world? No. Is that Earth 27657? Probably. But
By the way, I pulled it up. The Mystics scored 90. They scored their 90th point on an Atkins jump shot with 4:25 left. They were up 15. They never scored again. So they could have scored 100 points. They had 90 points with 4:25 to go and didn't score. And they still won the game.
that's
So.
like there's a common aspect of this Mystics team just not showing up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But we can't talk about it because they ended up winning the game.
Just
But
throwing it out there. Didn't score for the final 4:25.
that's hilarious. All right. Yeah, so that's how we're doing it. All right, gun to my head, Atlanta lay 2.5. Definitely on the over, 169.5. Atlanta team total over 86.5. Scott, player props. What do we like?
Well, I have a trivia question for you. Do you know how many assists Jordan Canada had last game?
6.
Yeah, that's correct. She had 6 again. To go through the updated stats on Canada, she has had exactly 6 assists in 7 of the last 8 games. So
It's at 5.5, ain't it?
it's at 5.5. So you can
And
actually
it's minus
bet it now.
130. Hey,
Yeah.
hey,
It's actually playable.
hey.
So
I'm not gonna do it because I know what's gonna happen when I do it. But because I didn't
I might do it.
I'm
Why not?
gonna let you. I'm gonna let you do it. If I do it, it's not gonna happen. But if you do it, I know it's gonna happen.
Well, the Wings are allowing the most assists per game in the entire league, and last time I checked, 6 is greater than 5.5. So yeah, I probably will do it. It's at minus 128. I think it's a good deal. So I don't
think you
mind
should ladder
Canada.
it.
That's a little dangerous. I'll stick with the
Nah,
6.
I think you should. I think you should ladder it. Scott. She's gonna break through 6 eventually.
I'm hoping she does, but I'll take the 6 for now. But I think if I was looking at other matchups, I'm really fascinated by the actual center matchup here between Charles and McCown, because McCown's been rebounding well, and we know how good
Mm-hmm.
Tina's been for the last, really since the All-Star break. She's been great. So I think I'm going to have to go back to Charles double-double, just based on the fact that it's plus money. It's plus 115 for a double-double. She's had a double-double in 4 of the last 5. and she had in one of the 2 meetings of the season. But I just think based on Charles's recent form, she has had at least 10 rebounds in 6 of the last 7 games. 9.5 rebounds is minus 104 if you want to go with that approach, but I think that she's going to rebound well. McCown, though, has been getting more minutes, thankfully, and it feels like they finally solved the actual center position, which was bugging me for the entire season. But I don't mind McCown maybe to have a good rebounding game as well. Let me just see where her number's at. It's at 8.5. She's gone over in 5 straight, went over in both meetings against the Dream this season. In fact, she's gone over this in 7 straight games against the Dream. I think I got to take McCown over rebounds. 8.5 is even money. She's gone over in 7 straight head-to-head meetings. So give me McCown over 8.5 rebounds as well.
Scott, is there any chance, any fear of the fact that McCowan's been so good to us lately, she's going to fall off a cliff and we're not going to mess with her anymore?
Yeah, of course, but I thought I'd
Oh,
never.
so you're
even
not
bet
ready
with
to
her.
get up from the table. The blackjack table's hot and you're not ready to get up.
To be honest, I thought I'd never want to bet with her in my entire life, and now I cashed a 205. So maybe it's a heat check with McCown, but I think we're cool now.
Okay. All right.
Every now and then, you bet on the person
everything
enough.
you said. No,
it works
yeah, but
out.
I just know that it's at one point the blackjack table cools off, the craps run cools off, and then it's over again.
Yeah, you might be right, but I mean, once again, it's 8.5. She can end up without a double and we still win. So I'm fine with that. It's even money. I think even money's a good price. You interested in any Enrique props in this game?
Let
Because if
me
we are
see.
picking the over in the game, that means you probably expect points, and it's going to come from mainly 1 or 2 sources. Either you can pick
Yeah, I'm
Satu or Enrique.
and that's what I felt. I felt like I'm like, which of the 2 sources am I really gonna pick from here?
Enrique's at 21.5, by the way. It also could come from Natasha Howard, in theory. She's at 16.
Also, wait, pause everything. Satu
Okay.
got 5 assists last game.
Yeah.
The line is still at 4.5. It's still plus money. You
Okay.
still take it. You still take it. So Satu last 5 games on the assist 5, 0, 6, 5, 3. Been over in 50% of her last 10. This season, she's been over in 62% of her games. Look at the head-to-head. She's been over 2 of the last 3 against Atlanta, 6, 4, 5. And she had 4 before that. So she's kind of always hanging around this number. But again, expecting points. I like Satu points. I like Satu assists over 4.5. I do like that. If you're a little hesitant, a little nervous, you can take the points and assists. 22.5. I think that's solid. Honestly, points, rebounds, and assists. Just backs. Well, maybe not the rebounds. Points and assists. Yeah, 22.5 minus 120. 18.5 points is even money as well. Yeah, I think I like everything but the rebounds. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna fade the rebounds though.
I don't know why
Hasn't been good.
Satu has not been
I
rebounding.
mean, it's too
this
many
entire
people.
season,
It's
but-
too many people to be in there. I wouldn't be trying to in there battle with everybody because at any given point in the starting lineup, you got Natasha Howard and Tierra McCowan that are battling for rebounds, and then you think, oh, Tierra's leaving the game. Cool, I'm finna snag me a few rebounds. Nope, because here goes 6'7" Kalani Brown coming off the bench taking rebounds. So you know what? I understand it. Points and assists.
Yep. Fine
All
with
right.
me.
And then yeah, let's go with Enrique play.
Cool.
Let's take I wouldn't mind Enrique PRA, just cover your bases. Because she has been really good racking up the RA recently. And then the points I feel like are just clearly going to be there. 31.5. She's been pretty good to that number all season, actually. Over in 3 of the last 5, too. She's had 27 the last game, 45, 37, 31, and then a 44. Yeah. What? Enrique's been really good. Enrique over 31.5 PRA. All right. Next one, Scott. Before I get to that, though, gotta talk to you about Underdog Fantasy. Hey, you can win up to 1,000 times your entry with Underdog Fantasy. Plus, you can get a sweet first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. They give you a whole bunch of specials and boosts to use, especially when NFL's kicking off. They have a whole bunch of specials. Make sure you take advantage and you sign up for Underdog Fantasy using that promo code NBA as NBA SGPN. Claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code NBA SGPN. All right. Next game up. Why are 3 games at 7:30?
Yeah, they're all at 7:30.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Like, just push one of these to 8:30.
Or move it earlier because you got the NFL tonight.
Ooh, that would have been dang. Some daytime hoops would have been great for today. Oh, that would have been amazing. All right, which one of these games do we want to do next? Minnesota Lynx on the road going to play the Indiana Fever. Minnesota opened up as a 1.5 point favorite. They are up to laying 3 in this one. 169.5. What's with these 169.5s? 169.5 is total here. Alana Smith is not on the injury report. I know that much. She's going to be expected to be a full go. Looks like nothing here's changed in these lineups. All right, Scott. The Fever have been hot. This Lynx team was their last loss. This one's at home. Time Fegbile is questionable with the shoulder injury. What are we doing here?
So, even though the Lynx, we know, have been the better team this season, Indiana's been incredible. I did lose money on the last time they played the Lynx, though. But they have won 5 straight. They haven't lost since. And I will point out that most of those wins were against weak competition, but they did beat the Sun. So I'm going to count that. The Dream, we know, have not been good lately, but it's still a road win against Atlanta. I'll count it. But the point is they haven't really played anybody, but they were able to win all those games. The Lynx, though, we saw them lose to the Wings, and really since that point, it feels like the Lynx kind of, I don't use the word peaked, but had themselves a monster stretch where they ended up beating, for example, the Aces twice in a row, and they
collecting the Infinity Gauntlet.
Pretty much. But they lost to the Wings, and they ended up beating the Sky. That game was competitive, though, down the stretch. So they haven't exactly looked great since the last couple games, but the point is we know that they're the better team. I think I am going to go with Indiana, though. I think that this team is actually very solid at home. They're 10-5. The Lynx, we know, are the better team on paper and did just beat the Fever, but I do think the Fever at home are very, very dangerous, and I feel like this game's a coin flip. So with that being the case, give me the 3.5.
Yeah, I actually do think this is more of a coin flip than I would have gave it credit for a while ago, but I think I'm still going to go Minnesota here.
Okay.
I mean, both of these two teams have been the 2 best offensive teams since the break. Like, clear cut. But the thing that's really, really glaring for me, well, one, Indiana defensively just gives up a bunch of points, 84 since the break. That's 10th in the WNBA. It's the 3-point. So look at the last 8 games. They have given up a bunch of threes.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of threes. The 3-point percentage is horrible. They're like close to bottom of the league, and from basically any spot wherever you shoot the 3 above the break in the corner, like they're basically bottom 3 in the league in those categories.
For reference, by the way, the last meeting the Lynx did go 11 of 27, so they shot 40.7% from 3, and McBride went 4 of 10.
And that's really my cause for concern. If the threes are hitting for the Lynx with that offense and how good they are, I mean, we've seen how they dominated the Aces and all these teams all season by constantly hitting threes, and they have so many people that are really, really good at shooting threes. When you talk about shooting, Nafisa Collier has upped their 3-point percentage this year. You have Alana Smith, you have Bridget Carlton, you mentioned Kayla McBride, dog. What's old girl coming off the bench that shoots like 50%? Zandolicini or something like that. What is it?
Yeah,
How do you say it?
Zandolicini.
Yeah. Zandolicini, yes. She shoots like 50% coming off the bench. So like it's so many options to just go hit.
They also have Heidemann off the bench.
Yeah, and then Heidemann is really good about getting in the paint. That's what Courtney Williams and Heidemann do too. Like they're really good about just distributing and helping get the ball to those 3-point shooters. And so for sure, I'm taking Minnesota team total over. They had 90 in the last matchup. I think that's a really good spot for them.
That was on a back-to-back, by the way. They had 90 on a back-to-back.
Yeah, so Over team total over 85.5. I do like the over for the game. I don't think Indiana's going to lay an egg. So I'll say I like the over for the game, over 169.5. But I'm going to leave Minnesota because of that. Because I just think that if it gets late in the game and they hit some big time threes, that's just going to pull them away. And it's 3. The line is 3. It's telling you the threes are hitting late at 3. All right.
I think I'm looking at the Courtney props for this matchup. Mostly the points and assists. She's gone over this in 9 of the last 10. She's gone over this in 13 of the last 19. But against the Fever, she has gone over 15.5 points and assists in 4 straight. So I don't mind Courtney Williams over 15.5 points and assists.
Let's see.
I can look up the 3-point props if you wanted stuff for Minnesota. McBride's at 2.5.
I did take McBride last time. I had a nice little parlay going of like Nafisa. It was like 25 plus points. Basically the Maya Moore parlay.
Yep.
It was like Nafisa 25 plus points. It was Clark 4 plus threes and McBride 4 plus threes. I thought it was dead in the water. Clark was missing 1 and McBride was missing 2 in the fourth. McBride went on a heat check and I was like, yes, now Clark has to respond. She didn't. It was really annoying.
Yeah. By the way, I see everybody listed for threes is basically a 2.5. I see Caitlin's at 3.5, but McBride's at 2.5, Carlton's at 2.5, and Mitchell's at 2.5 for threes.
They're telling you something.
Well,
Man.
it should be a high scoring game, so.
Man. Take the over 20.5 on Kelsey Mitchell.
It's tough to go with any unders for her because she's been really, really good.
And she just went under for like the first time in forever last game, and she had 18. Come on. She's been over 21.5. Like, this goes back to last year that she's been killing this Minnesota Lynx team. 21, 21, 24, 24, 7, 22. Like, they just can't guard her. And I'm just not fading a super hot player like her right now. Like, oh, man. All right. Kelsey Mitchell over 20.5. Add that to the card. I kind of want to go with Alana. I feel like this is just Alana Smith and Bridget Carlton are one of those duos where you bet one and the other is the one that goes off. And it's really annoying.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's dangerous about the Lynx and why they're so good is because they have so many different options.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think we play McBride.
Yeah, I mean, McBride we know is going to get the volume. She had 10 threes in the last head-to-head, so yeah. I think if you're going for volume, you probably want her at 2.5. I don't mind Collier. Her rebounds are at under 8.5 at plus money, actually. It's about plus 101. She's been rebounding not so well lately. She had the monster game against the Aces where she had 18. Besides that, she's been kind of quiet. She has had less than 9 rebounds in 3 of the last 4. And against the Fever, she had 5 rebounds in the last game. So she's gone under this number in 3 of the last 4 head-to-head meetings against the Fever. The Fever, though, are a pretty underrated rebounding team. So I actually think that Collier might struggle a bit on the boards here. Give me the under on Collier, 8.5 rebounds.
Yeah, I'm still on the over 19.5 points for her.
I'm fine with that. I just think the rebounds are too high.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying I'm on the 19.5 points. I say you ladder it. She had 31 the last matchup. She hasn't had a really, really good game since then. It's 15, 17, 12, but
yeah,
I mean, I still think that this is coming back to another really, really good matchup for her. You look at the numbers, and to the forward spot, Indiana's giving up the 10th most points. She's able to get to the mid-range and kind of get to her spot and hit. Hey, Indiana's really good defending the paint, but she doesn't have to go inside the paint to be able to score. And I think she's going to be able to get to the foul line as well. I like Nafisa Collier. I think she'll be able to 25. I think 25 is realistic, but if we get to 25, you might as well sprinkle on 30. She might get there.
She could.
All right. Next game up? Let's talk about... No, not next game up. Before we get to the next game, gotta talk to you about rhythm. Make sure, go ahead. Let me get in the lab real quick. The Rhythm AI lab. Make sure that you go out there and download the Rhythm app, because I'm telling you, it's just extra picks in there. Extra picks in NFL, extra picks college football, extra picks in WNBA, like golf. They have all these options. They have a whole bunch of models. You can create your own models. Matter of fact, if you go check out Sports Gambling Podcast on YouTube, they have a whole episode with Rhythm showing you how to create models. You should absolutely, like, come on. You can take the things that you care about, put them in your predictive models, and then the AI is going to help and create, hey, what picks do you say are going to hit by your model? Rhythm's model loves the Indiana Fever, Scott.
Okay.
They think the Fever are going out here and getting a win. They have Fever minus 151. They think for those odds, it has a 68.8% win probability. They have 86.5, 81.5 for the game. Hey, that gets you over the team total. That's actually the under, though. Interesting. Interesting.
Didn't the Fever play defense for once?
Yeah, that actually gets to 86, and yeah, that gets you to the under. Okay. All right. 7-day free trial. You can get that. You can get more. I'm telling you, it's a whole bunch of more bets in here. So make sure you go click at that link, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM, and you can get a 7-day free trial to Rhythm. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. The Las Vegas Aces are on the road going to play Connecticut Sun. Aces open up as a 1-point favorite. They are now laying 2. 164.5 is total. Injury report for these two teams, and we have Kelsey Plum is not on the injury report. She's expected to play today. Last game was just rest, that it sounds like they were giving her. Tiffany Mitchell is out with the illness still for the Connecticut Sun, as she's been for a little while. All right. I mean, Scott, it's basically, do we trust the flow chart here? Connecticut Sun, are they playing the Aces or the Liberty? L. Anybody else? Win.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part, but
that first part's definitely true. The automatic win we could talk about. But
it's not automatic win, but yeah.
I bet the Aces last night. I'm not gonna overthink this. I mean, the Aces have been playing very well. They won 3 straight. Yes, again, weaker competition, but Asia's putting up insane numbers. I actually have the numbers in front of me for the last 4 games. This is like prime Duncan, prime Shaq, prime Hakeem numbers here. So the last 4 games that Asia Wilson's played in, she's averaging 34.8 points per game, 13.3 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, 3 blocks per game, 1.3 steals per game, 63% field goal. What are we even doing here? These are 40-minute games, not 48. She's putting up prime Duncan numbers. This is stupid. Like, I don't think anybody on the Sun can guard her, but I think you're looking at a spot where the Aces, we know, just dominate this team. Now, there were some quotes, I actually saw you retweeted, where Becky Hammond was talking about getting some players some rest before the playoffs. That's why you ended up seeing Plum miss a game. She had a bit of an ankle issue. I don't think it's a big deal. And Jackie missed a game for rest. Asia, I don't believe, has missed a game in her entire career. So I'm not sure if they're going to actually give her any games off.
What was it? Broke her foot? Something with her foot.
I'm saying, like, sorry. So, like, besides injury, she's never actually sat at a game
for
rest.
I can't remember off. I'm sure Becky's probably rested her at least once, but I can't remember anything off the top of my head.
Point is, though, until the Sun actually beat this team, I can't pick them to beat this team. The Aces, I just feel like with the amount of weapons they have, we did this earlier this year. The Aces weren't in great form. They showed up and they buried them. They won by 11.
Mm-hmm.
I think this game will be close, but I think it's also pretty telling the line's already moved to 2.5. They expect the Aces, who maybe have turned a corner, maybe not, or they just let Asia do Asia things. They've been able to win. But I'll back Asia, and it does seem like the supporting cast has kind of moved into solid, I'd say, flow. And it feels like they switched up the lineup a bit. They took Stokes out of the lineup, and it's been working out. They use Gustafson now, and I feel like there's been a bit of a change there. I don't know if that's going to be long-term or if that's something that's like a short-term spark. Maybe you notice it too. But since they took Stokes out of the lineup, it does seem like they have a bit more juice to them. So I'll go with the Aces in this one. It's the same issue every time, isn't it? Like, the Sun just can't keep up with the scoring options.
And it's like we get to the point where we're actually trying to kind of fade the Aces here. And it's just like they're not giving us much to work with here, guys.
I mean, what'd the Sun do last game? They split against the Storm and they scored what, 64 points at home?
Yeah.
Like
In the
I just
second
have a
half.
hard time picking them to score.
Excuse me. Yeah, like if the Storm win this, I mean not the Storm, if the Sun win this game or this matchup, let me say that. If the Sun win this matchup, it's gonna be the one that nobody expects where they're catching like 5, 6 points. It's not gonna be this one right here as a 2 point dog at home. It just feel and well, I will say Connecticut does want the game though, and that's the part that I missed for the Minnesota Lynx handicap. They're both tied for second. I'm pretty sure both of them want to be the 2 seed and duck the Liberty to the finals.
I'd assume so.
I mean, it would just be the smart play to me, but some people don't be scared and they be like, I'll play him. It don't matter what round I play him. I would want to duck them into the finals.
I mean, even Vegas, you want to make the argument for the Western Conference standings. They're 3 back of Minnesota. They're probably not going to catch them. There are 6 games left. You could argue that it's possible, but they're also 1.5 up on Seattle. They haven't clinched the 2 spot in the West either. So there's some seeding implications here. I see a question, though, from Luis. He's asking if the Aces might look ahead to the Liberty. I mean, maybe, but in
it's
reality,
hard to look ahead to the Liberty when you're playing the Sun.
And you're on the road in Connecticut. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
it's a game against a team that you've beaten in the finals before. I don't see you overlooking them, at least in my opinion.
If this was like like a Chicago, matter of fact, the Mystics. If this was the Mystics, I would 100% take whatever they were laying against the Mystics here. But
no, the Sun are a good team. You tend to get up for that team.
Yeah, you can't look ahead. Can't look past the Sun. All right, Connecticut won a game last time in the building. I don't know. I'm going Aces. I think Aces want it more.
Until the Sun beat this team, we're just not going to take them. But the Aces, I think, including the finals, are 7-2 in the last 9 games head to head. So
we follow the flow chart. If they're playing the Aces or Liberty, we take them. That's the 2 that has their number. All right, yeah, Aces lane 2. 164.5 is the total. Okay, so I understand the Aces have been under a lot recently.
Okay. I'm going to let you finish that thought.
I understand it. But, like, despite the offensive challenges for Connecticut at times, are they not just a way better offense than Chicago, Phoenix, and Atlanta? Phoenix as they are now. Phoenix can't score anything right now. Are they not just, like, isn't it just another tier above? I feel like 164 is a little generous.
I mean, I feel like it can go either way because it comes down to whether or not you think Connecticut actually shows up for a game offensively. Because the pace they're going to try to slow down. The Aces want to go a bit faster. The Aces, though, have played better defense lately, but to your point, they were against some weak offenses or weaker offenses. So it could go either way. I think for this one, I am going to lean under. I think the Aces with Gustafson at center have actually kind of turned a corner. No offense to Stokes, but it feels like Hammond had to do some slight tinkering with the lineup, and maybe you've noticed it too. They just look better with Gustafson on the floor as opposed to Stokes. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah. It's really the spacing that really helps. I think Stokes now has gotten to the point of her career where she's just like she's a role player. Like she's
no threat to ever look at the rim. That's the problem. Gustafson can actually give you something.
And I think they just kind of pushed her in that lineup because it worked last year. But like they were definitely planning on having Candace Parker in this spot right here all off season, and then Candace Parker got there and retired. So that kind of threw things off, and they just kind of kept rolling with Stokes because it's what they did last year. But like last year's clearly not working anymore. So I think Gustafson needs to stay as well. I think that she's playing really well for them.
She's not even playing many minutes, but it just feels like that opening quarter, that first look, she looks pretty comfortable with that unit. So
I like the adjustments. I like the adjustments that were made for sure.
I think I'm going to go though. First meeting, by the way, landed 159. If that means anything. Connecticut only scored 74. I feel like I might be interested in the Sun team total under in theory, because the Aces could go crazy offensively, letting Asia do prime Shaq things. I still don't think Connecticut is a good offense. And Mabry has been, I mean, I'll put it this way. The Sun have been fine with Mabry. I'm sure they were hoping for a bit more consistency with the overall offense. I just have a hard time picking the Sun to score 81 plus points in any given game. They need to get to 82 here. That's a pretty high number for Connecticut. I'll go with the under. Isn't that a high number? It feels like a high number for Connecticut.
Yeah. Yeah. But
like
the Aces are going to
80s?
piss me off if they don't play defense. That's
Yeah.
really because I think the Aces are going to score. But if they don't play defense, this is going to be ugly. So
I like the Asia blocks.
all right, I like the under. I think I like a first half under a little bit better. Aces are actually 1-8 since the break to the first half total.
So they're 8-1 to the under. That's still pretty solid.
Yeah. First half under.
Okay.
Because Sun first half under has been doing well. What's that? 83? Yeah, this goes under 80 in the first half. All right. And then it probably picks up a little bit, but still stays under. Player props. So, again, I just think that this 91 points to 1,000, this is either going to happen in Indiana because they have 2 games in Indiana, or she's going to try to stretch this all the way till she gets back home to do it at home. And
I don't see her stretching it. She's too good anyway. It might only take 3 games. The question is if she's like 40
But if
away.
she does it in Indiana, isn't that like all right, let's go into Indiana, let's show them, like, so she probably goes off these next few games.
I feel like once again you might get yourself in a Tarazi situation where if she's like 40 away from the record, that she might just
goes
have
for
a
it.
game.
Yeah, it just has the game and goes for it.
But I feel like you're a bit too far out at 91. But if you get to like within 50, Asia might try to get it in 1 game.
I'm pretty sure I've seen her score 55 before.
Yeah, but my point, you know what I'm trying to say. The point is that
no.
I think Asia, if she ends up scoring 30 and change in this game, and then she is within the high 50s, maybe she tries to go for it in 1 game. Who knows? But I feel like that's too far down the road. Asia knows she's getting there. She walks into 27 plus points every game. So I don't see that being a factor for me.
Yeah.
It might be a factor if she's within striking distance of like 40.
So it was 53.
Yeah. That was against Atlanta, I think, like a year or 2 ago.
Crazy. It was crazy. All right. So Asia, we gonna come back to Asia in a game or 2. We gonna see how this goes.
I still like the rebounds.
I still like
Asia,
yeah.
Just to be clear.
Yeah.
I mean, the rebounds have been crazy for Asia.
I think you still play the points. Yeah, the rebounds. I think you still play the points and rebounds too. Like I think those are still good plays. But the real narrative, because if she gets in spitting distance, if this is like, what's the number? What's the number where you say
within 50? I'll say if she's within like 40, let's say 45.
She's going for it at 45.
I think she's going for it at 45.
So 90.
And I think her teammates are going to give her the ball every possession if they really want to. But
I'm trying to predict this.
It also makes perfect sense. You give her the monster game to get to 1,000, and then you just sit her the next game because you want to actually rest people for the playoffs. It actually does check
then it gives you a good, like, all right, like, yeah, that gives you. I like that, Scott. I like that. Okay, so we're still gonna back her until she gets this 1,000. That's basically what we came from here. We're still backing Asia Wilson until she gets the 1,000. All right.
I like Mabry threes in this game, by the way. It's at 1.5. I think it's pretty low. It's at -130. The Aces this season have not been great at guarding the 3 ball. They've been better lately. Mabry, though, has had at least 2 threes in 5 of the last 7 meetings. Had 3 in 2 games against the Aces this season. Now, I will admit she was on a different team, but she still had 3 in both games. Yeah. So the volume should be there. She attempted 16 threes in those 2 games. So I do think you're looking at Mabry probably getting some volume. And with her just tendency to shoot a lot, I do think that the threes are a bit low. But she attempted 5 last game, went 0 for 5 against Seattle. Only had 3 against Seattle in the first game, but had 7 against the Mystics, 9 against the Fever. These are attempts. And she made 4 and 5 in those games. If she ends up getting to 5 attempts, I can see her making 2. So I think that Mabry over 1.5 threes is pretty appealing.
Dirty Reg said he doesn't like playing the threes. It's the hardest shot in basketball. Not for everybody.
I'll tell you what, though, if you want to go for long shot parlays in like the NBA or WNBA, threes alt lines are actually like very solid. Because if you just pick the right game, you're cashing like a plus 400.
Yeah.
If you just pick the right game. But
all right. Alyssa Thompson. Hey, Scott. I'm just let you know. I don't know why they playing with her name right now.
She
Six
better
and a
score
half.
10+ points, by the way. If she doesn't score 10+ points, I'm going to be pissed at
Yeah, like
Alyssa Thomas in this
all
game.
these numbers are just relatively low, to be honest. Even for her standards. Like, I understand she can be very, very unserious at times. 24 and a half on the PRA,
Yeah.
6.5 on the assists. Like, what?
Those
She's
numbers
at
are low. I mean, you know my thoughts on AT. I always like the rebounds and points. I mean, I always like the rebounds and assists. The points give me a hard time because she just
the
doesn't look at the rim half the time. So
Yeah, I mean, the last game she had against the Aces, yeah, she had 16. It wasn't good. But come on, prior to that, 28, 29, 30. Like, she's clearing this line. She's been
yeah,
over that line in 60% of 2024. Like, the PR, I just stuff the stat sheet. Like, she can stuff the stat sheet. If she has a regular game of 8, 8, and 8 that she's done multiple times, you just need that little push somewhere. I think she's going to get over the 10 points. Yeah. Over 24 and a half PRA. Love it.
yep.
All right. Let's see. Yeah, that's it for that one. Last game up.
Well, before we do the
Oh,
last
yeah,
game,
yeah, yeah.
you want to do
Before
a
we
read?
do the last game, I have to talk to you about game time. Make sure you go and, hey, you can get tickets to this game if you're in the Chicago area. You can get tickets to this game. You can get tickets anywhere using the Game Time app. They have a whole bunch of deals. You can get your game tickets, your WWE tickets, all of that, all in the Game Time app. I love them. I use them last minute at that. I use them literally as I'm driving to the arena, stadium, whatever it is. I'm going on Game Time to get the best deals I can, and they have a lowest price guarantee. Game Time will credit you 110% the difference if you find a ticket, same row, same section, for a less price. I mean, what? And get some money back? Of course. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets and buy them with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code SGPN for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply. Create an account, redeem code SGPN for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Scott, you want to know the funniest thing about that read?
What?
The part that says spell out SGPN.
Yeah, because I don't know how else you're supposed to say it.
Like,
But
how else am I supposed to say it?
you say Sports Gambling Podcast Network, I guess. They want the acronym, but
Like, how do I guess that is maybe spell. Yeah, but still,
I
come
would say
on.
SGPN anyway because it's shorter. So
Yeah, like what? Oh man, I would love to go around the network and see if we took that out, if there was somebody that would not spell
it's a
SGPN
long
because it
ass
didn't
promo
say
code if you don't use the acronym. It's a long ass promo code.
it. The Chicago Sky are at home welcoming the Los Angeles Sparks. Sky laying 5 here. It actually went down half a point. 164.5 is the total. Injury report, and Kennedy Carter is back playing in this game.
We can actually
She,
watch this team play again.
yeah,
They're actually watchable. Okay, this is a good step.
100%. So Kenny Carter's back in the lineup. She's available to play, and she talked about it. Watched in a little interview before, after practice or something like that, and she said hey, I gotta find it. I gotta find it and play it. Like, I was sitting there, I was like, oh man, they're about to actually. They sound like they are ready to go back. She was like, hey, put the rest of the games that happened behind us. That's old. It doesn't matter anymore. Let's focus on the teams in front of us, and let's go ahead and get after it. And she says she's back. She's feeling good, ready to go. So there you go. Katie Carter's inserted back into the starting lineup. Los
Yeah,
Angeles Sparks
I like those quotes,
are.
by the way. I mean, at least saying that you got to just try to look forward and try to maybe make a playoff push.
I mean,
I
it was very good leadership in her part. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, she ended up getting COVID. It is what it is. She's back. We know that they were useless without her. But I feel like even though the Sky are in the hunt for a playoff spot, because to be honest, we have too many teams that make the playoffs in WNBA. Because a lot of the teams that make it are at the way bottom or like 8 games under, or like they're close to it. It's disgusting. But I got to play the sound drop. I have to. The team's records are too bad.
That feels a little contradictory because we didn't play it for Atlanta and Dallas.
I should have. I just forgot to.
Okay.
I'll play it again for Atlanta and Dallas. There you go. There was a bit of a
I just feel like
the handle
I
was
feel like
broken on
if
the
you're
toilet. We had to
I
fix it.
feel like if you're in the play like if you're an 8 seed and a 7 seed, like yeah, we're not expecting you to go out there and do anything, but at least you're getting some valuable playoff
To
experience.
be fair, I think any Sparks game, they might be bad enough that they deserve the toilet flush by themselves.
I'm weak.
As a counterpoint, they're awful.
He's still sweating the 9.5 here. I think it was it 9.5? Yeah, I think it was 9.5.
Yeah, I think it was 9.5. It was either
So
9.5 or 11.5. I don't remember, but we thought they'd go under, and it looks like they're trending that way. But we got a long way to go.
So they won the last meeting by 4. Kenny Carter just came back from illness in that game. And this I think that's really like around the time all of this was starting. But she just came back. She came off the bench, played 17 minutes, I believe. Sky won by 4. This line is dropping. I
Yeah,
see it dropping. I don't think I'm committed to the drop with Kenny Carter in the lineup.
I think
It's
I'm
that
with
big of a
you.
difference. Is that big of a difference?
See, the problem is the Sparks are 2-15 on the road, but the Sky are 4-12 at home. So both these teams aren't good in this building. So I don't really know what to expect. But I mean, it was a higher scoring game second time around. They faced off in August, and that was a 4-point win by the Sky on the road. Faced off earlier this season in May, late May, and the Sky did win by 10, but that was pretty dated. The
Mhm.
Sparks we saw give the Fever run for their money. I
Yep.
can't tell if that was because of a good showing or because Indiana was hungover fresh and making the playoffs. They made the
It
playoffs the
was
day prior.
actually it was C because they were laying double digits, and you just take that team when they're laying double digits.
That's true, but at the same point, the Fever managed to clinch a playoff spot for the first time in about 8 years on their day off. So I'm sure they turned up a little bit. And then you had Clark with a triple double
Well,
at the
if
end.
you ask
So,
Caitlin said she watched the game, saw them clinch, and then turned it off and went to bed.
okay.
That's what Caitlin said.
She's wired differently, I guess. I'm not saying her teammates were wired the same way, but I assume psychologically there might have been a letdown spot, but they ended up waking up. They took over the second half, and Clark had a triple double. So, yeah, I think I have to lean Sky because I really don't want to back the Sparks based on their overall form for the last couple of weeks. I mean, shout out to Odyssey, though. Odyssey's been good.
She catch 20 plus ladder from the last game.
Yeah, she's playing well, but I don't know. Hamby, since the breaks kind of cooled off for me. Or maybe we just aren't talking about her enough because the team isn't any good. The
No,
rebounds haven't
I
been
think
there.
it's because Rakia has now like the usage of Rakia
Yeah.
has like Hamby in the beginning of the season was all of the usage, everything. She was doing everything. Like there was a point in time that PRA was just going crazy because everything was going to her. But now that Kurt Miller realizes he has other really good players and he starts using them too, it kind of brings Hamby a little bit down, closer back down to earth.
I think I
Uh,
do still like Hamby under 25.5 PR. It's at minus 119. She's gone under this number in 8 of the last 10. Head-to-head wise, she's gone under this number in 5 of the last 6 against Chicago. But mostly, as you said, the usage with Rakia, it's definitely playing a factor. I don't mind taking the under on Hamby 25.5 PR.
So I think Camilla is going to walk into double figures. I'm going to take the
Okay.
over 10.5 points. I believe it's at even money still.
We're still waiting on the random Cardoso game where she ends up with like 18 points. We still haven't gotten
she
it yet.
had 25 already.
We're waiting for the right spot for us to take it.
Yeah,
It's there
she had
somewhere.
that. She just had that 25 piece. Like, hey, since the break, I've been hammering and saying, hey, she looks a lot better. It was 22. I'm sorry. She looks a lot better. Like a lot better finishing at the rim, and they need to consistently give her the ball because she can actually be a offensive threat for this team, and put up a whole bunch of points. The last 2 games, she's had 14 and 22 when they started making her a part of the offense again. Look at her head-to-head earlier this season. She had 15 in that matchup against the Sparks. Now Kennedy's in the lineup. I think that's going to open things up for her, make it a little bit easier. Maybe Kennedy can be one of the guards that can actually get her the ball in good positioning in the post so she can go to work. I'm all over Camila Cardoso over 10.5 points. At plus money, yes. And I think I'll sprinkle on 15 too.
By the way, I'm looking at the playoff standings. The Sky right now are tied with the Dream for the last spot. But they're both half a game ahead of the Mystics. There are too many playoff teams in this damn league. This is crazy. They're 11 and 22, and you have 2 separate teams tied for a playoff spot.
But you got 3 more teams coming in the next 3 years.
I know. I'm hoping that it works itself out for the standings because seeing a team with a win percentage of about 33.3 being in the playoffs is kind of hurting.
But you can't give a basketball team a bye. Like that's the ultimate thing. Like you can't make it a 4-team playoff because that's not enough. But you can't give a basketball team
You
a
could do
bye.
6 and give the top 2 teams buys if you wanted to do that.
No, that's
In
that
theory,
the top two. That is that rest that you get and not playing an additional potentially 3 games.
I get it.
Like
I'm just saying right now,
nah,
eight playoff teams in a league of 12 is pretty wild. That's all I'm saying.
no. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I just don't think it's like it doesn't make sense to give like I think a bias means way more in basketball than it does in football.
Yeah,
Like it
that's fair.
means yeah, 3 more games. Like 3 more games is insane.
Yeah, by the way, I'm looking at some props I'm tempted by. I don't know if you think Carter's going to have a min restriction because she hasn't played in about a week, but I don't think so. As I said before, that they are tied for the last
You
playoff
can't
spot.
afford it.
They can't
You
mess
can't
around.
afford it.
You get the Spark Center schedule. This is the closest thing to a free win you're going to get. So you got to definitely try to get the job done here. I think Carter's going to play her usual minutes. Give me the over rebounds for Carter. It's at 3.5. She's gone over in 5 straight, over in 8 of 10. People keep getting distracted, rightfully so, by Angel because we know the rebounds have been crazy for her. But Carter's had 5+ rebounds in 4 straight. And 3.5 is
Mhm.
minus 125. I think that's a pretty low number for Carter. I think it's reasonable. And assuming she's going to play 32+ minutes in this game, we know that the workload is going to be there. Give me Carter over the 3.5 rebounds. And then, of course, we've got to talk about Angel because, I mean, how are we going to talk about a Sky game and not talk about Angel Reese? Her
Mhm.
rebounds are at 13.5. It's at minus 135. Sure. I mean, she's gone over this number in 6 of the last 7. She's had 35 rebounds in the last 2 games. Yeah, give me Angel rebounds over as well. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel here.
Closing
I'm
out with
assuming you agree
Odyssey
about the
Sims.
rebounds in general, but
Yeah, but you're
yeah,
not. I'm
of
not.
course.
I ain't even need to say anything.
Mhm.
I'll let you handle that. Odyssey Sims over 19.5 points and assists. Been over that in 3 of the last 4 games.
She's
Been
got
over
the points
that.
by herself, She might not even need the other stats. Who knows? Just
You
saying.
said it, Scott. You said it. Yes, Thomas. I love that play. Kennedy plus Sky win plus 148. Love that. Love that. Yeah. I mean, come on. Like, are we at the point where I have to explain Odyssey Sims over PA? Like, it's been really good. She's been really good when they give her the keys, and now she officially has the keys to the offense. I think that the offense is going to be flourishing in this game. She's going to be running it. They're going to be pushing the pace, and they're not quitting, even though it doesn't look like it. They're not, and she's going out there and still putting up some pretty good big games and with some high assist totals. So yeah, over 19.5 points and assists. Whew, okay. Yeah, that's it. Lock
By the way,
dog.
for Sims' stats, she's had at least 6 assists in 4 straight. Her line's at 5.5 at minus 135.
All right.
All right. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go.
I feel like you're going back to the aces. It's the flow chart, man. We believe in
It
flow
is
charts
the
here.
flow chart, man. And it's like, when do we ever get the aces this low of a number? But it's
Not
really
often.
the flow chart. You're right. Screw it. Aces lane 2. It's the flow chart.
It's a
It's the flow
tradition.
chart.
I know you
And
cashed the lock on
and
them
the
in the
flow
first
chart's
meeting.
due. The flow chart is due because they just lost to the Liberty. Or they just beat the Liberty as 7.5 point dogs. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
they're only gonna beat these teams when it's nobody's giving them any credit and they're like 5.5, 6, 7 point dogs. But two, no. There's too many expectations. Aces on the road, lane 2. They get it done. Trust the flow chart.
Yeah.
For my dog. Hmm. Camilla is tempting.
I mean, you could take that Carter play that was recommended. You can get the plus 148 on that.
Yeah, I can. I think the only thing that I'm concerned about is the coming back. Is she really is she really, really good? I know she's good, but is she really, really good? How do I want to play this? Let's go ahead and let's go with the play on the fee ladder. Because her points are at 19.5. And this is the stock market where they drop the points and we just come back with the buyback.
Okay.
And 25 is now way more juicy than 25 was last week. And so I'll take it.
All
Let's
right.
see here. 25 plus points for Nafisa Collier's at plus 245. Like, Scott, that sounds like, come on. Plus
It's a good
245
price.
for Nafisa? Yeah. I'll take plus 245. There we go.
All right. So for my lock, I think I am going to go with your favorite player prop. I'm going to go with Jordan Canada over the 5.5 assists at minus 130. Look, 6 is good enough. We've reached the point where 6 is actually going to cash you a bet here. It's at minus 130, minus 128, give or take. I see 128 on FanDuel, actually. So give me the over. She has had at least 6 assists in 9 of the last 10, at least 6 assists in 14 of the last 20, and at least 6 assists in 4 straight against the Wings. 2 meetings this season, she had at least 7 assists in. Actually, no, she didn't play against the Wings this season. That was last year. So we'll see how she does in this one. But she had at least 6 assists in 4 straight against this team. The Wings are allowing the most assists per game in the entire league. So it's a good matchup for Canada. We both think that it's going to be a high-scoring game, and we think the Dream probably get to the mid-80s, maybe 90s in that game. So give me the over on Canada assists at 5.5 as my lock at about minus 128. For my dog, I feel like I'm going to have to go player prop here. The question is what I want to go with. Because I'm really scared to take an Angel Reese alt rebound line of 15.5 at plus 172, but the Sparks are so bad at rebounding that I feel like it actually makes a ton of sense in this game. But I'm trying to wonder if there's any other props that I could really take that I preferred, or I could go with the side if I wanted to go with the Fever, for example. But I'm actually going to quickly pull up FanDuel to see if they have a performance double that I could go with for the Fever, because I think the Fever are actually at a decent price here at about plus 128. If I throw in Clark, though, because I'm assuming Clark's going to have a monster game if they get the job done in this one. If I go with the Fever to win and I toss in Clark 20 points, it's plus 228. I'll take that. Give me the Fever money line with Clark 20 plus points, plus 228.
All right. Scott. Underdog.
Then we won our entry last episode, right? Because Tarazi went
did.
lower.
Yeah, we did. We did. I was really, really weak. I was like, shout out to Tarasi for always making us
We
money.
just had a bunch of rebound hires, and we just had Tarazi being not great, and she was fine. But that number was too high.
All right. Let's see here. What do we want to throw in on the sheet today?
I mean, do you want the Canada higher assists, or no?
No,
We could
'cause
switch things up.
if you force me to play it, it's not gonna hit. Well,
All right.
I don't care. Let's play it.
I don't mind Mabry threes at 1.5. I feel like that's a pretty low number. Even against this Aces team, I
Oh
know that
no,
they played better lately. They are not good at guarding the 3-point line. So
Canada's assist is 0.86. We can't take that.
okay. So I don't mind Mabry 1.5 threes.
All right. We haven't talked about Mabry since the game. Let's 1.5 3-pointers higher. Let's move on.
You want Angel at 13.5?
Yeah, let's throw auto play in there. Sure. Angel Reese higher, 13.5 rebounds. And let's close it out with we can go Kelsey Mitchell, we can go Camila Cardoso, we can go Courtney Williams. You said you like Courtney Williams.
Yeah, if they have her points and assists at 15.5, I don't mind that.
That's 16.5 on the
Damn
higher.
it. We'll go with Cardoso.
And it's 16, yeah, 16.5. But it's 0.1.04. Cardoso? Okay. Cardoso,
We know the Sparks don't stop anybody in the paint, so that's fine.
Can I take, I can, Scott,
What?
we can go, no, let's not do it. All right, higher, 10.5 points for Camila Cardoso. So, that plays out to Marina Mabry, higher, 1.5 3-pointers made. Angel Reese, higher, 13.5 rebounds. And Camila Cardoso, higher, 10.5 points. Add that underdog, shake it up, and you get 6x, $100, get $600 at Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code NBA SGPN, cash that underdog lineup. Marina Mabry, higher, 1.5 threes. Angel Reese, higher, 13.5 rebounds, I'm sorry. And Camila Cardoso, higher, 10.5 points. For the parlay,
A lot of choices.
Yeah, there are. Let's throw the Kennedy 20 plus and the Sky win in there for that
Okay.
plus money price. Hold on, I gotta build this and because I can't
That's plus
just make shit
148.
the odds. Uh, let me see. So we got Kennedy here, higher on the points, or oh, I'm saying higher, making me think. Um, got me thinking I'm over here still on underdog. All right, Kennedy, 20 plus points. Yeah, 148. So we got that there. Let's go with Atlanta really does need this one.
Yeah. I mean, the Wings aren't out of it either, so you can make the argument both teams are, but the Dream are tied for the last playoff spot with the Sky.
Let's take Atlanta money line. No, no, we're not fading. We're not fading the Wings anymore. I'm not taking them, but I'm not fading them. I'm just gonna
Okay.
ride out the 10.5 on the win total. We're gonna go back to the lock, and we're just gonna take the aces on the money line.
Okay.
Or wait, no. Let's go. Let's just make this a same game. Well, everybody can't same game parlay. Okay, so I'll just take the aces on the money line. It's fine. Take the aces on the money line. What's that? Plus 322. Let's get one more play in there. Mm, I'm I'm backing me in rhythm. I still like the Lynx. Get it done. Lynx on the money line. Aces money line. Sky money line plus Candy 20 plus points. Plus 608. Not
All right.
bad. I like it. It's cool. I'm cool with that. Plus, I don't got to worry about those filthy stinking points because those games could actually be close. All right, let's see here. That was kind of a chalk. That was a chalk parlay. Wow,
Still
that was
works.
really chalk. Yeah, it does. It does. That was chalk. It wasn't. It's not like me. All right, Scott. Anything else for the people before we get up out of here?
No. Once again, hopefully you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you are new. Besides that, you can find me on Twitter, Reichel Radio. Got a couple tennis episodes coming up over the next few days. U.S. Open. So I'm going to have the women's final episode today, men's final episode probably tomorrow, and that's going to be the plan for the rest of the tournament. I got the baseball show at 5 with Lonte, and I got a college football show on a different network in about an hour and a half. So you can find that. I'll post it on my Twitter.
Busy, busy, busy bee. All right. He's at Rush Hour Radio. I'm at really raw __. Make sure you go ahead and give us a follow on X. Make sure you follow the NBA Gambling Podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast. You can find NBA stuff. You can find WNBA stuff. All of that there. One YouTube location. 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcast. Yeah, appreciate that. Other than that, I actually don't have anything else to say. Nothing else to do. No other way of ending podcast. Just gonna end like this. We are out of here.